This is the NFL show to be named later.
Foosball and whatever you call it with them gargantuans.
Starring TJ Weber, Zach Zook, and Big Web. Brought to you by Brews on the Balcony.
What is up, NFL fans? Welcome in to Week 16 of the NFL here on the NFL show to be named later. Alongside myself is the one and only Zach Zook. Big Web not on the phone today. Again, he's like a little diva. Every once in a while, he just decides to make an appearance, and sometimes he just decides not to. No, totally kidding. He's busy, with day-to-day stuff. He's usually busy with work. And here we are recording. We will have his big-time picks coming up. Zach, good to see you. It's getting sad, man. It's Week 16 of the NFL, and 2 more weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, it's draft time for my Packers. Both my teams are out of it collegiately and in the pros. So now I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy some good playoff football coming up. But yeah, it's always sad. I looked at I started looking at mock drafts and stuff already, and I was like,
man,
what the upcoming class was going to look like, guys that potentially could work for the Packers, and I was like, man, that's a bummer.
It is a bummer. I mean, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. How do you think I feel every single year? I mean, at least you have a shot every year. I mean, I usually I'm out by about week 5. I'm used to going to the off season, so it is getting sad. But again, the good news is we got playoffs coming up. We got a lot of teams that could be winning this thing. We got a lot of teams that going back and forth in between both conferences. Some that we thought were powerhouses and juggernauts all of a sudden are kind of falling down a little bit. The Rams, the Saints, not playing as well as they have in the past. Should be a lot of fun. And also, because our pick'em's going to go all the way till Super Bowl Sunday. So that should be a lot of fun with that as well. So still a lot of football left, and obviously everybody enjoys the show. That's why you listen. If you're listening right now, you obviously enjoyed. Again, we appreciate your support. Yeah, I mean, unless you're just kind of saying, I hate the show, so I'm going to go ahead and punish myself here.
Just bag on us the whole time in your car.
I don't care. I mean, a click's a click. If you bag on us and keep clicking,
all he needs to download, right?
Whatever it is. I mean, we want you to like us, but if you don't, hey, you can hate listen too. It's fine. The best thing I don't know if I ever told you this, one of my favorite scenes in movie history, and this is just because I'm a radio nerd, but the movie Private Parts about Howard Stern's career, they're sitting there and he's at WNBC, and they have the stat guy come in with the executive producer. The executive producer hates his guts and wants him gone. They can't fire him because they're going to have to pay him a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he sits there and he's been trying for 2 weeks or so to get him out. And the statistician comes up. He goes, all right, so Stern's listeners, how often do they listen, or how many minutes does each average listener listen? And he goes, well, regular radio listeners will listen every once in a while to 5 to 10 minutes of a station and then get rid of it. He goes, Stern listeners, listen to this, an hour and a half per episode. And he goes, how is that possible? He goes, most commonly gave answer, I want to see what he'll say next. And then he sits there and he goes, he's thinking, and he goes, you know what? How about the Stern haters? All the people that hate him. He's got a bunch of people that absolutely can't stand him. The guy goes, that's a good point. The Stern haters listen for 2.5 hours every single day. He goes, if they hate him, why do they listen? He goes, most commonly gave answer, I want to see what he'll say next. So, I mean, I don't think we put ourselves up at the Howard Stern level at this point, but
I would say,
right, really close. But I would think that if you hate listen to us, and whatever, Godspeed. It is what it is.
Analytics before analytics right there in that movie, huh?
Yeah, I tell you what, and again, I'm just a nerd when it comes to radio. I'm a big Stern guy, Bob and Tom, just a lot of that fun back and forth radio, and it makes it interesting. It makes life interesting, and it makes the entertainment world interesting too.
Well, obviously, I mean, being in media, we're both kind of radio nerds. I'm a huge commentator, announcer nerd. Mm-hmm. I know all about the guys. I really cue into them when I'm watching a game and whatnot. But you're right, and Stern was such a pioneer for the industry too.
Oh yeah, whether you hate him or you love him, you tip your cap to what he's done and what he's built. Yeah, people say he's a smut guy, and I don't like what he says, and he's derogatory, and he's a sexist, and he's a racist. Say what you will about Stern. No matter how you feel about him and his content, what he's built is absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. He's like you said, a pioneer. He started what a lot of morning radio shows and afternoon shows do now everywhere. I mean, he was the first one to do it. And a lot of people that are on the air right now that I've heard talk say, like Elvis Duran, he's a big-time morning guy that is syndicated here in St. Louis, and he had an interview saying how much he loves Stern. Right. So it's interesting, yeah.
And See, that's the thing. That's the genius in what Stern is. Like, it's not the opinions. It's never been about that, and that's what everybody gets hung up on. But it's the type of content that he pushes. To draw it back to like a little bit of a football comparison, it's kind of like Stephen A. Smith today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you catch the whole thing that went viral about him previewing the Chiefs-Chargers game?
No, I didn't see that.
All right, so this guy, he talked about 3 or 4 people that are either on IR or retired.
Really?
He said that he was really excited to watch the matchup between Hunter Henry, who has not played this year, and Derek Johnson, who is currently a free agent. I can't believe you didn't see that. It blew up. It was trending all over Twitter.
This guy's making millions of dollars from ESPN. By the way, here's a little sample of what Stephen A. Smith said the other day.
And I'm going to have some faith in Spencer Ware and thinking that, he can do some things. I'm keeping my eyes on this matchup right here.
Spencer Ware's out.
I'm sorry?
Spencer Ware is out.
Oh, yes, I forgot. I'm sorry.
I forgot Spencer.
Yeah.
He made
Absolutely,
the Spencer
he
Ware
is
slip
out.
up too.
But I'm thinking Tyreek Hill. I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes. I'm also looking at the San Diego Chargers on offense, and I'm thinking about Hunter Henry and the way that he's played this year and as effective as he's been. He's going up against Derek Johnson, and I got to keep my eyes on that because I'm looking.
Kellerman and Brewski's face is freaking hysterical.
That's what I was
they're
about
like
to say,
looking, they're like something. They're smelling something like awful in the room. Like what?
Right. The
what?
audio
Like,
almost it doesn't even do it justice because Brewski's
man.
face, like he's just almost embarrassed to be on the air with him.
That guy makes tons of money too, Stephen A. Smith. Hey, it's a great industry.
Same thing, right?
I mean, if that gives you any hope, Zach, for where we could be one day, I mean, that really excites me. 314-877-8597, by the way, is our voicemail number. If you ever want to get involved with the program, you can also tweet at us or follow us everywhere on social media at Balcony Brews Pod. We are a part of the Brews on the Balcony podcast family here on the NFL show, to be named later. Ever since the week before week 1, we've gone every single week going through the playoffs. We'll be doing this year in and year out. Have a lot of fun with it. And again, next year, remember, you can get on our Pick'em, which currently it is really heating up, Zach. This Pick'em's really heating up. We'll start out first with the panel. I'm in first still. I mean, it's like a broken record. I'm in first place. I got 8 points, 110 total in the year, 8 last week. Zach also had 8 last week. So he's at 105. You're kind of creeping up there.
I am, which means I'm probably about to take like a 4 this week. So that's what's happened every time I get close.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been the same way, though. I mean, that's why, again, we'll talk about it in a second.
I did jump your dad, though, right, Big Web?
You did. Nice. By 4. You took a big 4-point swing on him. So Big Web now at 101 and had 5 last week. He's just, let me tell you something. He hits those big ones. The locks he's been kind of iffy on. He's 9-6, though. He's 9-6. But on his best 4 plays of the week, he's 33-27. So he's been good when he keys on certain games this year.
Right.
Picking the whole panel, it's not good.
One thing I do respect about Big Web and his picks, though, that guy goes balls to the wall.
Yeah, he does.
He does not care.
No, absolutely not. But he can bite him in the ass, or he can win him a week. That's
risk
how
it to get the biscuit.
That's how some people play the game, and the players will play, and we'll see how it works out for him. But at the moment, not doing too well for him. But he is only 4 back from you and 9 back from me. 2 weeks to go just in the regular season because, as we know, it goes through Super Bowl Sunday with this, but there are just less games to pick. So it's harder to make up a lot more. You know what I mean?
And you have those games that are almost a wash because everybody will be heavy on one side. You may get that in the playoffs, too, with some of these teams that get a bye in the first round.
So he might want to think about maybe going opposite on purpose, even if he doesn't like the pick. That's something to think about. So,
yeah, if you need to make up ground, you really have no choice, right?
That's a little cheat code for everybody out there. If you ever want to make up ground, if you know a lot of people will take the Chiefs, take the Ravens. If the Ravens are playing the Chiefs, it's kind of interesting how that all works out. So anyway, that's our standings for the panel. Winner of Week 13 was Blake Stumpf, who now has 11. Tammy Wrestler had really made her surge overall. Blake was still up there, though, and now he's back in the thick of it. Only 1 back of Tammy Wrestler. Tammy's in first still with 117. Had a little down week with 6 last week. She's been really up there and had a rough week last week. Blake had 11, as I mentioned, is at 116. He's in second. Matt Jameson's in third with 114. Mark Hessler in fourth with 113. And then me, Colby Wenwick, Zach Daly, all tied at the number 5 slot at 110. Kyle Stump at 109. Jordan Shrimp tied for 9th with Kevin McClory at 107. Zach Zook with 105. He's in 11. So there's your standings after Week 15. There you go.
Whoa.
Jinx, was it Jinx Poke? You owe me a Coke. Is that what you said?
Jinx Poke, you owe me. I haven't heard that one.
You
but
haven't heard
that's
that one?
actually
What did
pretty
you used
good.
to say? Jinx?
I was pretty
Just
lame.
Jinx.
Just Jinx, you owe me a soda.
You owe me a soda. See, I haven't heard
Jinx, you owe
that
me a
one,
soda.
though.
I don't
Okay.
know. That's kind of what we said.
It's. Oh, no.
Jinx Poke, you owe me a Coke's good, though. That's better.
Actually, I'm an idiot. It was Pinch Poke, you owe me a Coke, not Jinx Poke, you owe me a Coke. But I kind of like the Jinx thing. You can kind of throw it in there and mix best of both worlds.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I'm really reaching. I'm really reaching. Locks of the week last week. I'm on fire, and the only reason I'm on fire is because I'm picking against myself. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. The last 2 weeks in a row. I told you 2 weeks ago. Loved Kansas City. Picked Baltimore because of that reason. Cover. Last week. Loved New England. So that reason I picked Pittsburgh. Cover. I'm 2-0 when I pick against myself. Guess what? I'm going to do it again today.
I was just going to ask you, are you going to
Oh
stick
my
with that
God!
strategy?
You got
have
to. It's like what they're going to do with Nick Foles. If Philly wins out and they go to the playoffs with Carson Wentz, they're going to put him on the bench. They got to have him on the bench because Nick Foles is the hot hand. I'm riding the hot hand right now, and the hot hand says pick against yourself. I mean, like, listen, I'm still good on locks. Even if you're bad, just pick against me. I'm telling you, it's working. It's a thing that you need to understand that whatever TJ Weber picks, you pick the opposite.
You should have adopted this sooner.
I
this
should have.
strategy.
I'm 6-8. I'm almost a 500 for how bad I was. I mean, shit. I was 3-8, and now all of a sudden,
I've almost fallen back to 500.
yeah. I was just gonna talk about that. Zach and Big Web going with a double lock last week, and yikes, the Rams -9.5 lose outright. I
Yeah.
mean, they're scary. I mean, I don't know how strong they really are. I mean, I know that they're a good team, but I think that they kind of used to have a chip on their shoulder, and now that's got to be gone. Which I don't know if that makes them more dangerous or not in the playoffs. But something tells me that maybe the lack of experience in the postseason for this franchise could kind of place, a little bit of a, I don't know, could kind of play it out weirdly for them in the playoffs. I don't know.
I'm a little bit less pessimistic as some. I wrote about this before the season started, how with the addition of Aqib Talib and Ndamukong Suh and Marcus Peters, in all these basically mercenaries, that you might not have the tightest locker room. I don't think they do. I think that's played out over the last couple weeks. I also think one thing we've learned is if you didn't know, man, is Goff really, really good, or is he just pretty good and McVay makes the offense go?
Right.
I think you kind of got your answer. They just are kind of a soft team. They can't stop the run. They don't play a ton of defense. They pass. They have a bunch of West Coast guys. And like I said, mercenaries that don't like playing in cold weather. Goff chief among them. But the reason I'm less pessimistic for the future, I'd be a little worried if I was a Rams fan out in LA, because what are you going to do when you are inevitably a wild card and you have to go to, say, a Chicago or a Lambeau or a Philly or up to Seattle to play at the 12th man? You're going to have to toughen up. And the thing about it this year, they just don't have to worry about it, because they're going to either be at home or in the Dome in New Orleans. So that's where I guess I'm just not as worried as some.
Now, I will say, though, and I don't know if it's quite possible, but the Rams would have to lose out, and Chicago wins out, and Chicago could get the number 2 seed. Could it happen? Maybe.
What's the Rams' schedule the next 2 weeks?
It's pretty favorable.
They're at the Cardinals.
They're taking the Cardinals, so if that tells you anything.
That's not going to happen.
Plus, I got golf and fantasy championship this week, so I'm really going to be rooting for the Rams, which I never do.
Chandler Jones,
and
watch
then,
out.
Right. And then they have San Francisco. So they should win out. They should have
that would
at
be
least a number 2 seed.
deplorable if they lost out.
How funny would that be, though? I mean, I would find it hysterical.
It would be pretty funny.
Because of all the hype they've had and everything.
Can you imagine the panic going on in the
my
national
God.
media if they lost to the Cardinals and Rams?
It would be hilarious.
49ers, obviously.
Because of how stacked they are, because of all the weapons they got on defense, especially. You can even go away from adding Cooks and the season Gurley's had and the way Goff has been playing better than people thought. But the fact that they get Talib, Ndamukong Suh, Marcus Peters all on that defense, not to mention with Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle in the league, and they still are the way they are and giving up big runs and just not one of the best defenses in the NFL, is pretty remarkable when you think about it. So anyway, that's our thoughts on the Rams. Zach and Big Web lose the locks last week. Big Web's now 9-6. Zach at 8-7.
I suck.
It's a long time, man. Hey, I got to mess with you. Because
I don't
you guys
get
give
it.
me shit, I got to give you shit.
I knew it was coming this whole time. I was like, I'm almost nervous because I was on that big win streak, and I knew it would come back to earth, and it has just come shattering down around me.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. So once again, 314-877-8597 if you want to leave a voicemail. Let's get to Week 16. God, that's so sad to say. I'm going to start tearing up here. Can't believe the regular season's almost over. Washington is at Tennessee. No Thursday night games, actually, in this one. No Thursday night games this week. So we go right to Saturday, 3:30 p.m. start, Washington at Tennessee. And the Redskins are plus 10.5 points at the Titans. This spread to me is astounding. Again, we all know Washington's not a great team anymore with Alex Smith being hurt. And I believe that they can still play a little bit. I mean, obviously they beat Jacksonville last week, but it was also a game. It's Jacksonville, who's also had a terrible season. Now you go to Tennessee, a team that is still fighting for their playoff hopes and in a good spot right now at 8-6. They need to win this game. That's why I believe the spread is higher. They are on a 3-game winning streak. Shut out the New York Giants last week, so the defense is really on the up and up. And that was, by the way, in New York, so that was really impressive on their side. But 10.5 to me is a big number to give Tennessee. I still don't think they're a powerful team. Even the game that they've had against New York, they only beat the Jets by 4. And then they beat Jacksonville, but again, not a great team. The Giants still have had a bad season overall. So I'm going to take Washington in this just because of this point spread. I think 10.5 is a big number, and yeah, that's the reason why I'm taking the Redskins.
I'm going to take the Redskins, too. I'll bite the bait. Vegas clearly wants you on the Redskins this week. And I think that there's a big possibility the Titans cover playing at home. But you're right, 10.5, it's ultimately a little too much for me for a team that I don't really buy, kind of like you said. So hopefully Josh Johnson can build off of his first ever win in the NFL last week. The Redskins just injury depleted. They have hardly anything left. And the Titans, like you said, everything to play for. 8-6, fighting for that last wild card spot. We know it's either going to be Chargers Chiefs in that first wild card, but with the Ravens at the Chargers, that's their primary competition, I'd say, for that last spot in the AFC wild card, that 6th seed. So they most likely will come ready to play.
All right, so I'm taking
the Redskins.
You're taking the Redskins, sorry.
I don't love it, though.
Totally zoned out there. I apologize. It happens every once in a while. Big Webb's taking Tennessee, and a little bit of a sneak peek. He's taking Tennessee for his lock.
Wow.
That's a big spread to take the Titans. But, hey, they're on fire, 3 in a row. Can't really blame him for that. So, Zach and I go with Washington. Big Webb goes with the Tennessee Titans. We move on to another Saturday night game. I like these Saturday games, by the way. It kind of spreads things out nicely. It gives you Thursday, Sunday, Monday's cool, but how many times do we really watch Thursday night games, especially when they've been shitty matchups? Saturday's just awesome. It's like a full weekend of the NFL, and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I love the Saturday games as well. It's always something you can look forward to in December when college has died down. Then you get in the thick of bowl season, so you get all the midweek bowls around Christmas time and leading up to the New Year's Day games. So, yeah, I love the Saturday games. I think they're a little weird, but I love having, I don't know how I'd feel if, the Packers played on a Saturday.
Because it kind of throws their schedule off, too. You know how the NFL does that, where whether they have people playing in London. Did they not have any this year? They were supposed to have one in Mexico City. Did they have a London game?
They had London games.
It was earlier on, I guess.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then
That's
they were going to have the one in Mexico City, but he got moved. That was that Rams-Chiefs game.
Is because the field was torn up for some reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was from a Shakira concert.
Man, they got rowdy in the Shakira concert.
I guess.
I mean, that's what I do when I go to Shakira
Estadio
concert.
Azteca was going wild.
Damn, I party my ass off when I go to my Shakira concerts. I tell you what. So we were talking about Saturday night. We got a good one on Saturday night as the Chargers will host Baltimore. What looks like 2 playoff teams. Chargers minus 4.5 points. Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler reportedly should be back in the lineup for this game. We'll see. How they do, kind of banged up. That is a big story for me. I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I think they are the better team, Baltimore is a great defensive club. They obviously have really found their niche, too, on offense with Lamar Jackson. I definitely respect them more with Jackson than I ever have with Flacco. Joe Flacco's gone after this year. I would be shocked if he wasn't. I think this is Lamar Jackson's team unless something crazy happens. But the Chargers are at home, and this is also a big game for them because they're still fighting for a division title. I mean, they really have a shot if they can continue to play well and hopefully see the Chiefs slip up. There's a possibility that they could get another better seed in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think the Chargers are going to come to play. I think the spread's favorable for Los Angeles, and with the running backs back and healthy, I think it's their game to win. So, give me the Chargers.
Yeah, you know what's insane? The Chargers could not only win the division from the Chiefs, which is just outlandish.
Oh, my God.
Based on where the Chiefs were at the beginning of the season, they could end up with a bye, and it is possible that they could end up with the 1 seed in the AFC.
Unreal.
It's still possible. So you're right. Both teams have everything to play for in this. The Chargers seeding, the Ravens fighting for their playoff lives, and potentially a division crown, too, in the AFC North. That thing is still very much undecided with
Steelers,
Pittsburgh, and the Ravens both vying for that division crown. So I'm actually going to take the Ravens in this game. It's a little bit of an upset pick. I think the Chargers, coming off of finally winning a big game, they finally slayed the dragon. They were able to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, which has been something that they haven't been able to accomplish during Phillips' tenure very often. I think it had been a pretty long time since they had last done. I can't remember. I think it was maybe for their last 7 against them, I think was the stat. So I think they may have a little bit of a come down here against the Ravens. I also like the Ravens because of their ability to run the football and play defense. I think that travels in December. It's still going to be probably a little chilly with a night game, so I'll take the Ravens.
By the way, the Chargers have won 10 of the last 11 games, just to let you know. And to shock you, you said this is an underdog pick. I'm alone. Big Web
Really?
also going with Baltimore.
Wow.
I'm taking the Chargers. But honestly, I could have seen that going back and forth. I did go back and forth on that game a little bit because I do respect the Ravens more with Lamar Jackson. I just think the home field advantage could help out the Chargers.
I like the spread a little bit, too, in this. I think there's a decent chance the Ravens just win the game, but I also feel like it's probably going to be pretty close. And so if I can get lucky and the Chargers win by a field goal, then I still made the right decision. So that played into it a little bit, too.
So there you go. Dad and Zach go with Baltimore. I will go with the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. We move on. Jacksonville heading out to Miami as the Dolphins are minus 4.5 points. That game is the first noon game on Sunday. And honestly, this one I think is all Miami. This is the one I really did like just because, overall, Jacksonville, again, continues to show that they can't score. They just are a broken team. And what's even more ridiculous and disappointing if you're a Jags fan or someone that's watching football is that defense. I mean, again, they've shown flashes of greatness from time to time this year. But overall, I mean, it's just been pretty embarrassing to see the Jacksonville Jaguars play. They even lose to the fucking, I'm going to use that word, to the fucking Washington Redskins. That's how bad they are. I'm throwing out an F-bomb for you.
Did they do it at home, too?
Yeah, 16-13. I mean, with Josh Johnson at quarterback. Josh Johnson. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they're just a bad football team. And I know Miami got their asses kicked by Minnesota last week, 41-17. But Miami's shown more promise. Before that they won 2 against Buffalo, against New England. I know this is not a divisional opponent, but still, this should be a pretty easy win for Miami, in my opinion. And it's only 4.5. I think the Dolphins will roll because Jacksonville has just continued to show, whether it's Bortles, whether it's Kessler, the offense can't move the ball, and the defense isn't good enough to stop many people. So give me Miami.
I'm taking Miami as well. Cody Kessler makes Blake Bortles look like Jesus reincarnated. You're right, man. Just so disappointing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What happens to them after this season? I mean, where do you go? Like, they're going to be picking in the top 10 again, most likely. Or are they? I think they are. They'll be right.
Yeah,
they'll be right there.
4-10, absolutely.
I mean, unless they sneaky win a couple games and with some tiebreakers fall out, they're going to have another super high draft pick. Do they take a quarterback? It's looking that way, and it's a draft class, which I'm sure we'll find out a lot more about the candidates. Do they select Justin Herbert out of Oregon? Do they take our boy Drew Lock out of Missouri? Do they try and wait a year? I mean, they are just a complete mess, and it's so crazy from where they were a year ago.
What do you think about Joe Flacco being in Jacksonville?
I mean, why not just keep Blake Bortles at that point?
I mean, I literally thought the exact same thing. I was just curious on what you thought.
Blake Bortles even almost looks like him a little bit with the balding head. Like, it's literally just a
Absolutely.
younger version of Joe Flacco.
Because pardon my take, the Barstool podcast mentioned that the other day that
They love their big black guys.
Flacco could. Oh, they love Bortles, obviously,
Yeah.
and like you said, but they were saying that maybe you could see Flacco in Jacksonville. The first thing I thought was exactly what you did. Why don't they just keep Bortles? It's the
Right.
same damn quarterback, basically. So
Remember the rumors last year, too, that circulated, like, oh, maybe they'll get Eli Manning or maybe they'll try and trade for Alex Smith, and it just never happened. So I don't buy that. I think that Marone and Coughlin are ultimately too smart. Like, if they're probably going to draft a guy. Like, if you're drafting up that high and you have a need, like a clear need, and your defense already is sick, you need a quarterback. Go take a quarterback.
all right, so Zach and myself go with Miami. Big Web going Jacksonville. I don't know what he's doing. Big Web.
He goes for it.
Yeah, he's going for it. I'll tell you what, he might be going down to the trenches. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
That's wild. I'd love to hear his reasoning behind that. Maybe it's the 4.5.
I guess he just doesn't like Miami from what they showed last week. Yeah, interesting. Giants take on Indianapolis. The Colts are minus 9.5 points at home. Indy, the real deal. They are a scary team now at 8-6. Andrew Luck. Again, I'm going to eat crow for everything I said about you in the beginning of the season. You've proven you are an elite quarterback. You know how to win. Honestly, what's interesting, too, is they never have top-tier weapons. I mean, how amazing is that he
Never
makes
have.
a lot. I mean, he's got T.Y. Hilton, but that's about it. Ebron from time to time. But, I mean, overall, he doesn't have much on it. Not many good running backs. You got Marlon Mack, and you got who's the rookie? No, Hines.
Hines.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you don't have much going on offense yet. They still continue to score consistent points. Defense has been playing better. Zach, I believe, if I'm counting right, they have won 7 of 8.
Yeah.
7 of 8. And the one game they lost was Jacksonville. They got shut out 6-0. I don't know what happened there. But since then, they beat Houston. They shut Dallas out. Shut out what should be the NFC East winners, the Dallas Cowboys, 23-0 last week. I know I'm talking a bunch of great things about the Colts. I'm taking the Giants, actually. This is my upset pick for sure. I just think after that embarrassing game last week, I don't know if Odell's coming back or not. I seriously have no idea. Regardless, I think they should set him out because the season's over. But the Giants getting 9.5, I just think this is a trap game for Indy. I think Barkley will have a better day. I just think they'll move the ball enough, and that's a big spread. That's just a lot of points to give to an offense like the Giants, who, besides last week, have been playing better, have been rolling, and have been scoring a lot more points. So for that instance, I'm going to take the Giants to hopefully bounce back.
You like those Giants?
I do, just because what I told you earlier in the season, how I knew they were going to have kind of that roller coaster season. It was more like they didn't get going on the roller coaster, and then they climbed the hill for a few
quarterback
weeks longer, and they hit the top of the hill, and now they crash down to the bottom really quickly, but I don't know if they're going to stay there or if they're going to come back up.
Yeah.
That's the question. But the reason I like them is because they did what I thought they'd do, and they started using their weapons the right way and started winning some football games. But it took them way too long, obviously.
Right, and Eli finally started to pull it out a little bit. That's another huge question. Where do they go at quarterback? Because I think that they could be one of the comeback stories of the year in the NFL next year because they have Saquon, they have Odell locked up for a long time. They have pieces on defense. While I'm starting to think that defense is a little bit past it now with Ogletree and Jenkins and Vernon. They're all kind of older guys. They could stand a youth movement on that side of the football. They should be really explosive on offense this year. Problem is they're playing maybe the comeback story of the year this year on the AFC side. Super explosive offense with Andrew Luck. So I'm going to take the Colts. The half point with 9.5 as opposed to 10.5 is big for me. Ultimately, I don't think the Colts are playing around, man. Frank Reich and those guys, they look really good. And you're right. You got to just really tip your cap to Luck. He has had one hell of a year.
So Zach goes with the Colts. So does Big Web. I'm alone with the Giants. Colts, we mentioned, won 7 of 8. If no one remembers, they started out the season 1-5.
Crazy.
I mean, unbelievable. Again, your thoughts are welcome on any of these games, 314-877-8597. We move on to another noon game. Atlanta going out to Carolina as the Panthers are minus 3.5. Panthers lost their season basically last week as they lose to the Saints. Had a good opportunity to win and then just kind of blew it on Monday night. But Cam's been hurt with that shoulder injury. They have finally, since they are officially out of playoff contention, have shut him down for the rest of the season. Who is their backup? This is the great homework I do. Who is their backup? Carolina.
Carolina's backup. I thought it was Derek Anderson.
That's what I thought it was too. But
I want to say he's out of the league though.
I know. This is again
Taylor Heineke, maybe.
I gotta check. Man. Yeah, it's Taylor Heineke. You're right.
Yeah,
so
they
anyway,
got him from Minnesota.
So anyway,
what's the difference?
I'm taking Atlanta. If you could guess that, I'm taking Atlanta. But which, by the way, Carolina's minus 3.5 points. They're minus 3.5. I guess they thought the CBS spread still thought Cam was going to play because it was just reported today. And the good thing for our pick'em and for a lot of pick'ems I'm involved with,
they don't change.
Yeah. So Carolina, you'll see a very different spread when you go to the books, whether you use one of the online books or you go to Vegas. Very different spread. You're going to see Atlanta probably minus about 6.5 or 7, but in this instance, it's a slam dunk to take Atlanta plus 3.5 points.
Yeah, I actually had the Panthers picked until
Cam.
they announced Cam was out. Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Falcons. Could see a couple dead man walking in this game with Sarkisian. I've heard now Dan Quinn's rumored to be on the hot seat. The Panthers are thinking about firing Ron Rivera. And as a Packers fan needing a head coach, I'm like, yep, fire them all. We want to interview them all.
How many times has Ron Rivera been on the hot seat, though? He's like Marvin Lewis 2.0.
Well, I'm actually kind of rooting that the Panthers, with that new owner, are dumb enough to fire him.
Goes to the
Packers.
Packers.
A job like that. Well, and I am a big proponent of offensive head coaches in today's NFL. That's like the only guy I would be happy with. A defensive guy is Ron Rivera. I think that he would do a really good job in Green Bay.
So you're just saying F you to Joe Philbin?
Yeah, Philbin.
I'm totally kidding.
Philbin is out.
Totally kidding. That was a half joke. Absolutely. I figured Philbin wasn't your guy, and he's probably not anybody's guy.
I think he's a nice guy. He can stay on as a coordinator. I really.
That's
don't
what you
care.
say though about like, if you go on a date with a chick and she's like pretty, but she's not, 10. There's a 10 going out there talking to you like, okay, I want to date the 10, and then you say, oh, the other one's nice. But you can't say she's not as pretty as the other one. You know what I mean?
Well, and he did an okay job. It's
You're
exactly
saying the exact same
it's
thing.
exactly what you're saying, because it's like he did an okay job when he was the head coach of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But do I want him coaching, like being the head coach of my team? No.
Like if your buddy asks you like, so between these two girls, like, oh, the one's hot, the other one's she's very nice.
Yeah.
That means she's
a nice
not.
girl.
That means she's not as good looking as the other one. Absolutely,
That's exactly
100%.
what that means.
So Atlanta all the way through. That was a pretty easy pick. I figured when Carolina lost Cam Newton, they pretty much lost this game. Buffalo headed out to New England. The Patriots are now minus 12.5 points in this game. This is one of the more interesting years for me for the Patriots, because I think finally we may actually be seeing where the age is coming in a factor with Tom Brady, with this scheme with Bill Belichick. We may be seeing an end to the franchise we know.
Such a
as
smile on your trying to hide such a smile when you say that.
And what's funny is I have no problem with New England. I really don't have any hate, resentment, nothing. I'm a Tom Brady guy, but it is kind of interesting to see them lose 2 in a row. They have now lost 3 out of the last 5. Again, it's been close games, so they're going to be there. It's against Buffalo. 12.5 points is a lot, but they're at home. I'm taking the same stance I did last week, though, where I thought they were going to roll against Pittsburgh. They did not. Losing 2 in a row and you're at home against a division rival, they got to roll. They have to roll. If they don't roll in this game, I'll be seriously worried about them in the playoffs. I still think they're going to get it done. I think somehow, some way, Brady and Belichick are going to connive and sneak their way into the AFC Championship somehow and be there and be competing maybe for another Super Bowl, because that's what they do. But if they lose this game, or even are within 3, if Buffalo's within 3 in New England, I'll be very worried. So I'm going to go ahead and eat the 12.5 and take the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Patriots as well. I'm a Brady guy as well. Obviously, with him going to Michigan, I love Tom Brady. However, I can't wait for the Patriots in the next couple years to win like 3 games.
Yeah.
After Bill and everybody departs that franchise and all the Boston people can just eat it. And I think you're dead on with your thing about the age on Tom Brady. Anybody that's watched the games the last month, even 2 months, it's so evident that he is now more limited than he used to be. Does he suck? No, he doesn't suck. Can he win them a Super Bowl? Yes, he can still win them a Super Bowl. But you are starting to see Mother Nature take its toll. And again, will it be enough? That's just the big question we're going to ask ourselves in 2 weeks when it comes playoff time. I feel like the Patriots do this bullshit every year. They're going to get it together, and there's still going to be that team in the playoffs that nobody wants to play, and they're always going to be buttoned up and make fewer mistakes than you do. We'll see if the talent gap this year is big enough for them to lose. I don't like their chances if they have to play the Chiefs again. That said, I think I'd probably pick them against every other team in the AFC come playoff time, and I'm going to pick them here in this game against Buffalo and eat the 12.5.
So, and we're talking more about them covering the spread. We all believe they're going to win the game.
Right.
And a little stat here, they are the only team without a home loss this season. They're 6-0.
It's so hard to play in Foxborough.
At Gillette.
Nobody wins there.
I know. So even if it was, even if it was the Steelers last week in New England, I think New England would have won that game. I think Heinz Field has that same feel. Heinz Field has that same effect on the Steelers that Gillette has on the Patriots.
And when it gets cold out, it's different too. Like Heinz Field, November, December at night. I don't want to go there.
No. No one does.
Same with Foxborough. I mean, it gets just bitter up there this time of year.
So Zach and I go with New England, and Big Web going Buffalo. I mean, I tell you what, we have so far had 6 picks apiece. Me and Big Web have 5 different. 5 different picks.
I don't hate him on that one. I had a really long, hard look at this one. Josh Allen should be able to put some points up.
Division game, 12.5. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of points to give up. Move on to another noon game. Houston Texans heading out to the Philadelphia Eagles. Huge win for Philly last week as they take down the Los Angeles Rams, scoring 30-plus points. And again, with Nick Foles, I mean, the guy may be somehow becoming the starting quarterback again. I wouldn't be shocked to see if Foles wins the next 2 games in a row, gets them into the playoffs somehow, and then is a starter in the divisional or wild card round.
Jeez.
I would not be shocked. I mean, because think about it. It's the hot hand. The guy wins you a Super Bowl last week when Wentz gets hurt. How can you go against him if he gets you in the playoffs?
No, they won't.
What I'm thinking, too, let's just go on a crazy thing. Let's say they make the playoffs, make a Super Bowl run, Zach, win it again with Foles. Do you trade Carson Wentz?
No.
2 Super Bowls in a row with Nick Foles. 2 in a row.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, Mike,
I don't know.
You have to start him. You have
You
to
think
start
you trade
him.
Carson Wentz?
Do it. Yeah. Nick Foles is your guy. He runs Philadelphia.
Maybe
he already does.
Maybe
but if you win
think
2,
about starting him the next season, but you hold on to both. How old is Nick Foles?
He's got to be 32.
And I get it, but if Nick Foles started the season, would they even be 7-7? I just don't think
They might
so.
be way better. He's only 29.
Oh, he's only 29.
29 years of age. Let me tell you something. If it's
I don't know. I
it's
wouldn't
so
do that.
unlikely.
I love Carson Wentz though too. I think he's awesome.
It's so unlikely to happen so that if they would win the Super Bowl, you have to start him next year. You have to make him your starter and trade Wentz. You have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah, like I understand like where you're coming from on this because you're right. Like you can't just shake off 2 Super Bowl titles. Eli Manning made a career off 2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
So I get it, but if you get rid of Carson Wentz, if you hold on to him and just start Nick out 2019, see how it works, like Carson it's not your job anymore. You got to earn it back. And you see how Nick Foles does start of 2019, and if he gets off on a tear, you just let him keep it.
Yeah.
Okay, that I think is a non-fireable offense. But if you deal Carson Wentz after trading up, you get him at 2 in the NFL draft. Nick Foles starts 2019, goes 5-11. Howie Roseman's going to be on the street.
But who won those Super Bowls? It's all about the rings.
And the Philly people will tell you that too.
Oh, my God. I guarantee you, if they somehow pull it off again, and they're 7-7, they need to win now. They're playing Houston this week. It's not going to be an easy game. But if they can pull this out with Nick Foles at the helm instead of Carson Wentz, it's Nick Foles' city. Nick Foles will own that city forever. Forever, as Squints once said.
Cheesesteaks wherever he wants for free
Oh my
for
God.
life.
I almost want to see it. I don't want to see the Eagles win again, but I want to see it just to see what
I would love
happen.
to see him in the playoffs. Yeah, that would be awesome. But a little thing for your argument, they definitely, no matter what they're going to do, they have to keep Foles in Philly because Carson Wentz now has never made it through a season healthy. Going back to his time at South Dakota State, just can't. The guy is being labeled as injury prone, and I don't think it's that far off. Like, and these are serious injuries too. You blow out your knee, you broke your wrist, you got a stress fracture in your back. Like, yikes, man.
Yeah, it's like you said, big time injuries that could continue to come about. But it's like that's the instance though. You want to keep Wentz, you want Wentz to be your starter, but if Nick Foles wins you 2 Super Bowls in a row, you start Nick Foles.
Right.
Almost said Nick Wentz. You could combine them and make up one quarterback. No, if Nick Foles wins you a Super Bowl this year again, which probably won't happen, but if it does,
This is a big hypothetical we went down. They're 7-7.
hey, you went out. You just
could
never
happen.
know. And the Foles magic came back to my head whenever they beat the Rams last week.
Well, the issue. So who's their main? They have to jump the Vikings to get into.
Well,
the
they're
6th
one
seed.
game back of Dallas for the division.
Oh, that's true.
Dallas is 8-6. So and they got shut out last week. Let's just take a chill pill here
Well,
with these Philadelphia Eagles. They got a shot.
Dallas would have to lose out, and Philly would have to win out because Dallas holds the tiebreaker over them. The issue with them getting into that wild card too is the same thing. The Vikings beat them in Philly, so the Vikings would have to finish either 8-7-1 or 7-8-1, and then Philly would basically have to win out again. So it's definitely possible.
They definitely need help though.
Yeah.
Need help and they need to win out. Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and take Houston after all that. The Texans are a really good team. I think they're going to win it. I'm doing hypotheticals for fun. But the Texans came back after that tough loss to Indy, which broke the 9-game winning streak. They beat the Jets 29-22. A little bit closer than I would have liked against the Jets, but it was in New York. This one's in Philly, which is also tough after they beat the Rams. But I'm going to go ahead. I guess you call this an upset pick. It's basically a pick-em. I'm going to take Houston to roll in this one. By roll, I mean win the game by a touchdown. That's what I would say as roll.
I'm taking the Texans as well. I, as you can tell based on our previous conversation, I don't buy into the. I think the full stuff's an awesome story and everything like that, but I don't buy in. I don't buy into that at all. I think it probably comes to an end this weekend as Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt absolutely make a Nick Foles sandwich.
All right, so Zach and I going with Houston. Bold prediction there from Zach, too. A full sandwich coming up. We'll see if that happens.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to waltz in and into Philly in December and beat them by 21. Right? I just think the Texans win the game and the spread's very favorable.
Big Web takes Philly. Another one against us. He's going for it again. Are you sure he didn't look at our picks just to go opposite? I don't know. Literally
might.
every pick except one.
Conspiracy, dude.
7 picks. He's got 6 of them different from me. This is going to be interesting either way. So me and Zach take Houston, Philly for Big Web. Green Bay at the New York Jets. Jets are minus 1.5 points. Green Bay officially eliminated from playoff contention last week. Zach, I know you weren't expecting much anyway. But Green Bay, this is a big spit in the face to them. They're getting 1.5 against the Jets. Jets. I cannot at all even think about taking New York. I can't even try to take New York.
Rodgers is going to play, too.
Yeah, and you give Aaron points. I know they're not the Packers of old yet. They're going to be the Packers of new. They're going to be better next year, but you're giving them 1.5. The Jets just suck. The Jets are not a good team. They've been a roller coaster at times, but they overall have just sucked. Give me the Packers. I'm taking the Packers.
I'll take the Packers, too. I basically give up a game every time I take them, it seems like. I just keep picking them. So, yeah, there's my blind spot and my bias. I picked them to cover 5.5 at Chicago last week. I thought that was going to work, by the way, because Rodgers was driving right down there to cover the spread for me and then got sacked and injured, and then they trotted out Mason Crosby with like 20 seconds left, down 10. That was just idiotic. Anyways, I'll take my train wreck of a football team from Wisconsin plus 1.5 against a bigger train wreck, the New York Jets.
So we all take Green Bay. By the way, if people are wondering what in the hell is wrong with CBS to even favor the Packers over the Jets. The Packers are one of only 2 teams without a road win this season.
Oh, yeah, they have not won since like week 4 at the Cowboys in 2017.
So there you go. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why that
Yeah.
Green Bay is not favored in this game.
It's been a big deal. Rodgers has caught just a ton of heat for it. You know what? Like, long term, like the fan in me obviously wants to watch him win. I wish they'd sit Rodgers and just lose out and get a better pick.
Yeah, as a fan, you'd like that, but it's like at the same time, I don't know. I feel like
It's hard to root for your team to lose.
yeah, that's tough. But it's like at the same time, what's the point? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
long-term health of the organization, they should fucking lose these 2 games and try to get Josh Allen from Kentucky, a beast edge rusher, or, somebody in the draft upcoming that's awesome. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Cincinnati heading out to Cleveland. The Browns are minus 7.5 points. This one I was really back and forth on. I love the Browns this year, and Baker Mayfield consistently has just been playing better. He had a rough first half last week, but bounced back. They're 6-8. Cincinnati is 6-8. They also have been able to get the run game going. They scored 30 on Oakland, which shocked me. Before that game, though, they lost 5 straight, and they have kind of been a roller coaster on scoring points. They'll score 14, then 20, then 20, then 10, then 20, then 6. They kind of go back and forth, so you don't know what offense is going to show up. And again, obviously, Andy Dalton's not out there. So, with that being said, 7.5 is really scary. A division game and a game that you sit there and kind of scratch your head and saying, what Cincinnati team's going to come out here? Are they going to be playing up to standards? And 7.5 is a lot of points. 6.5, I'd still be scratching my head at. I'm still going to take Cleveland. I think they're going to. It's a tough pick.
Surprised me there.
I don't love. I almost want to talk myself out of it. I don't love the pick
This is a tough one.
because 7.5. But
It's do you want to lay 7.5 for Jeff Driscoll or bet the Browns to cover more than a touchdown?
that's what I mean. But they've just been playing so well. 2-game winning streak for the Browns. I'm still gonna take the Browns 7.5. I'm gonna say Driscoll throws a pick 6. That'll be the difference. Browns win by 10.
I like it. That's very specific there.
I'm
We're
gonna call that. We'll
if
check in on
what
it.
happens if that goes down, man?
You
You gotta do a special segment.
I'm just
or
a free.
something
I'm a
on it.
king. I'm a king. I'll do from then on. If I hit that, if they get a pick 6 and win by 10, what has to happen? They have to get the pick 6 to win by 10.
Just if they get a pick 6, like to seal a win.
Okay, then it also counts.
Yeah.
And if they win by 10,
That's
it's
close
another
enough.
extra bonus. And then I'll make more predictions like this every single week if I hit this one.
Yeah, there
this
we
is
go.
just I'm pulling this out of my ass. We'll see what happens.
Browns have a better record than the Packers. Never thought I'd see the day.
Don't worry, I'm a Lions fan. I got
Yeah.
nothing to talk about.
So-
0-16.
I'll take the Bengals. You're right. Joe Mixon is one of the stories that has flown under the radar this season. The guy that everybody knows, like if you play fantasy football, you know who he is, but nobody gives a shit this year because the Bengals suck. This guy, he's sweet, man. He's an elite running back. He's top 10. He's a 3-down back that can catch the ball out of the backfield, run between the tackles. He has breakaway speed. He's legit. And he has kind of carried them to this 6-8 here. The 6-8 is not embarrassing for as embarrassing as Cincinnati has looked at times. Also, I bet against Jeff Driscoll a couple weeks ago because I just thought that they'd go into the tank when Dalton went down. That hasn't really been the case. So I'll take the Bengals to cover 7.5. They actually rewarded me last week by picking them. So we'll see if they can do it again here.
All right, so Zach and Dad going Cincinnati. I'll take the Cleveland Browns minus 7.5. That's just still
What
scary.
Big Web do?
He took Cincinnati.
Oh, he did?
He also
Okay.
took
Sorry,
Cincinnati with you.
I'm being a dummy.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Second to last noon game, Tampa heading out to Dallas. Cowboys minus 7.5 points. Absolutely embarrassed last week against Indy. I love that pick. I'm glad I picked it.
Good
Shut
for
out.
you. I picked Dallas, and you and Big Web both took Indy.
But the way that Dallas is playing, I mean, you couldn't think that was going to happen. But the same thing happened with I took Indy a couple weeks ago when they got shut out by Jacksonville. So, I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's how crazy this league is.
you had a good feel for that. You were feeling pretty confident about that too.
Just because of luck at home, man. That's the reason.
Really tough.
And this one, Dallas will score, and it's going to be closer. But this one, I'm also going against them. I'm taking Tampa. 7.5 points. Again, it's that 7.5. You know, if you go below 7 at all, I think I take Dallas. I think Tampa could cover by half a point. I swear. And that I seriously think that they'll score enough points to stay with them. They again, it's that team that what team's going to show up? You know, because they've only scored 26 total points in the last 2 weeks combined. They scored 17 against Carolina. 24 against Carolina, 27 against Frisco, 35 in a loss against New York before that. So as you can see, They can score points. But the reason that the spread is the way it is because the last 2 weeks they have not been able to really do much. I'm going to go ahead and say Jameis gets it going a little bit in this one where they just cover by enough. I'm going to say they do lose the game by 7, but cover by half the point. You're going to sweat it out, but take Tampa.
I'm taking Tampa Bay as well. This is, I feel like, one of the easier times you have picking a dog because Tampa is just the king of second half garbage time passing down the field and scoring points that don't matter. They could get down 21-0 in this thing. I'm not going to start sweating until about 5 minutes left because they don't go away.
Oh, let me tell you something. I've sweat because I picked against them twice, and they've come back and bit me in the ass twice when I've been up by 3 touchdowns. I had Cincinnati against them early in the season when Dalton and them were rolling up 21-0. They came back and covered against me, and I lost the damn game. Crazy.
They gotta be the worst, like, record-wise team to get the most favorable spreads. Like, do you catch my drift there?
Yeah.
Like, they're 5-9. They're at an 8-6 Cowboys team with one of the best defenses in the NFC. Yet they're only getting 7.5 because they can cover spreads without having to win games because their passing offense has been so good. And yeah, I don't know. Is it enough to win the game? Certainly not. I think you're right though. That half point's big.
So there we go. So me and Zach go with Tampa, and Dad's going with Dallas. The one thing that does scare me, and I think this is where Dad's at on his pick, is that the Cowboys can clinch the East with a win today. A win on Sunday. So that's the thing. You know, with Philly kind of sitting there after the win against the Rams, Cowboys thought they were going to walk into the NFC East title, and now they're 1 game up.
Especially after their abysmal performance last week. Usually they bounce back.
Yeah, so when, obviously, you said they had the tiebreaker anyway, though, right? Didn't matter.
Yeah, they beat Philly twice.
But if Philly wins out.
Wins out and Dallas
loses out, then they still, because of record. So, so there is a possibility. So there you go.
They got to win.
So they have to win this game. So that's the only thing that worries me, but they're probably going to win the game. But 7.5, I think Tampa will cover. Zach agrees. Dad goes with Dallas. Last noon game we have. Minnesota heading out to the Detroit Lions. Great team. No, they've just been awful. I got to take Minnesota. There's no reason for Detroit to even play this game. Just lace them up one more time for Ford Field. I don't even know if they're playing in Week 17 at home. I really don't know. Just do what you can to play some football, Lions. There's no reason for me to break this game down. Minnesota's got something to play for. The Lions don't. Spread's 5.5. This is Minnesota all day. Nothing else to say for me, at least.
I'm taking the Detroit Lions.
What?
You about died right there,
I did. Choked on my water.
This is my crazy pick of the week. These division games are tough. You never know how to pick them. The Vikings, I think, are feeling pretty good about themselves after, to steal your word, thwopping the Miami Dolphins. They let go of John DeFilippo. I think the Lions at Ford Field are going, to use an old saying that a lot of NFL guys use, they drive nice cars too.
Yeah.
They're still millionaires. They're
on
still
scholarship
professionals.
too. Yeah.
And they still have Matt Stafford, who I believe is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. They still have weapons. Kenny Galladay going to play? They're not shutting him down.
No, he should be playing.
Okay, so I think the Lions are going to cover in a huge upset pick.
I like your passion because this is the type of passion I show with that team the first 3 weeks, and then I just kind of lose.
They killed you, huh?
Lose all hope because of the way that we play.
My family's from Michigan, so I have a little special place in my heart for any team from Michigan. Even though they play in the division, I don't hate the Lions.
All right, so Zach's going Detroit. Dad and I going with the Minnesota Vikings. Minus 5.5 points in Detroit. Move on to the first 3 o'clock game. Chicago at San Francisco. The Bears are minus 3.5 points, and wow, are they fun to watch. They are showing that they could be one of those teams, man, that could sneak into the NFC Championship and no one would be surprised. I know you sit there and you talk about New Orleans and the Rams and the fact that they should meet up because of how good their matchup was this year and how good both teams are. But, man, the Bears have been so fun to watch. They got a passionate fan base. As much as I hate Chicago fans because of the Cubs and Blackhawks, I have no ill will towards Bears fans.
Fuck the Bears.
Okay, well, that's true, I guess. Even as a Lions guy, again, I just like the Lions. I don't hate the Bears much. So I wouldn't mind seeing them make a run just to see those fans. It's fun seeing Bears fans kind of root for the team, and not having a team in St. Louis. It's kind of cool to see a Chicago team win. It's weird to say because I always say fuck the Blackhawks, fuck the Cubs, and I always will forever. But for some reason, the Bears to me, I could root for the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, still fuck the Bears, but you're right. Like in terms of seeing this tortured fan base that has had to sit through John Fox and Mark Trestman and bad GM and bad draft picks and bad quarterback play. Even when they went to the Super Bowl in 2005 with Rex Grossman, and Kyle Orton and Caleb Haney and Jay Cutler, they've had to sit through so much bullshit. And finally they got a winner, man. And it is like, although it's bittersweet because I'm a Packers fan and I hate that damn franchise, and the Khalil Mack trade, I think, has propelled them beyond heights that they had imagined at the start of the season. It is nice they finally have a winner and something to cheer about. And, yeah, man, they're feeling good about themselves. I still think it's a freaking miracle if they win more than one playoff game with Mitch Trubisky. But Matt Nagy, how good do they got to feel just about the future, knowing that they knocked that coaching hire out of the park?
It's just a change of pace to see a team that's been bad for so long be good again. It's fun. It's fun, depending on what team it is. Like the Rams, forget the Rams, but any other team, I enjoy watching them make a big kind of resurgence. You know what I mean?
Well, they're one of the more traditional franchises in the NFL. They've been around for so long. I think that I've always held that everybody says that it's this storied franchise. I think that's a bunch of crap.
You're a Packers fan.
Well, they won one
saying
Super
that.
Bowl in '85, and they've basically sucked the rest of the years.
Yeah.
So, but they do have a ton of tradition up there, a rabid fan base. That's a football town and a huge market. So, yeah, it is nice to see a traditional power kind of rise back to the top.
All right, so you're taking Chicago?
Yeah, I'll take Chicago. Yep.
We were talking about the fan base. We didn't even pick the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think to talk about the game for just a second, I think Levi Stadium's a kind of tough place to go play. Mm-hmm. 49ers have been a lot tougher at home, but yeah, dude, I'm not betting against the Bears at this point.
I'm taking the Bears too, -3.5. I will say though, Frisco 2-game winning streak, beat Denver and beat Seattle in overtime. By the way, that Seattle team 2 weeks ago beat them 43-16.
Yikes.
Another huge stat for you. Didn't know if you knew this. The Niners are 7-1 in December games in the Shanahan era.
Really?
Yes.
Did
so
not
since
know that.
last year, 7-1 in December.
I heard some other crazy Shanahan thing where if Mullins or Garoppolo start, their record is really good, and when Beathard starts, they've won like one game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think Chicago's my best pick this week. We'll think about it. I might make it my lock, but the spread's low because of how Frisco's been playing.
So you're anti-lock?
We'll get there. We'll get there. Move on to another 3 o'clock game. Rams at Arizona Cardinals. 14.5 points for the Cardinals. To me, you know me. I hate big spreads. I never take huge spreads. But the Rams lost and got embarrassed against Philly. Gave up way too many points. They're still fighting for number 1 seed, for home. I mean, all the home playoff games, to host everything. And I still think, even though I was talking shit on them earlier, I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs, but I think they're going to make that big kind of turnaround this week and come back and really show what they're all about. I think they're going to absolutely destroy Arizona, beat them by double digits, maybe 20. I know Arizona's a better team at times at home, but I just think the Rams in this game, it's bad timing for the Cardinals. So I think 14.5 is a huge spread. Wouldn't take it in a real bet. But the fact that I just have to pick it, I will take the Rams minus the 14.5.
I thought about that too because of the way the Rams have looked the last couple weeks. You heard the post-conference with Sean McVay after the game talking about how important it was for them to get it figured out and that they were going to go to work this week in practice and try to have a better week and get things buttoned up before the playoffs. Ultimately, 14.5, dude, it's just too much. This is the NFL. Again, they drive nice cars too. Mm-hmm. Josh Rosen's a multimillionaire. If they do cover 14.5, that might be the final nail in Steve Wilkes' coffin, which never talk about another man's job, but He might be one and done. I'll take the Cardinals 14.5. Don't feel great about it. I don't like betting against the Rams, but they've had their issues, and like I said, man, it's the NFL.
All right, so Zach goes Arizona. Not a bad pick. 14.5 points, a lot of points. Me and Big Web go with the LA Rams. By the way, a little stat for you, Jared Goff has had 10 giveaways in the last 4 games. 10 giveaways. So he may be on the down low, and I hope not because I'm starting him in fantasy. Come on, Jared, I need you this week to get me the championship in my league. So Cam's out. I need Jared Goff. So, again, Dad has Rams. I have Rams. Zach has the Cardinals. Move on. Last 3 o'clock game, the Pittsburgh Steelers head out to the New Orleans Saints. To me, the game of the week, as the Saints are minus 6.5 points. Also a very interesting spread. Man, I went back and forth for about a minute, and then I realized, hey, it's the Saints. It's at home. They've been scary the last couple of weeks. The same way I think the Rams are going to bounce back. I think it's time for the Saints to get back to their normal ways and run the ball the way they know how to. They also clinched home field advantage in the NFC with a win. I am taking the Saints. I think they're going to cover. They're going to win the game by a touchdown. I see the Steelers really struggling early in the Superdome. I just have a feeling that they're going to have trouble moving the football. James Conner, is he back this week for sure? Depending if he is or not, I really think they're just going to have a tough time just getting going on the ground. That's going to force Ben to throw more. I think New Orleans, not the best defense all the time, but good enough where at home they ramp it up in the first half. And I think the Saints are going to score enough where the Steelers just won't catch up. The only thing that could happen is a backdoor cover by Pittsburgh, which does scare me. But 6.5, I think the Saints will at least win by a touchdown. So give me New Orleans at home.
I don't know about the James Conner thing. However, I think kind of the opposite. I think Jalen Samuels has come in and also had success. I feel like that offensive line's just pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Steelers in this one to cover the 6.5. I just can't wait to watch this football game. The Saints, you mentioned, just haven't looked quite right last, month, especially offensively. Their offense, I was just bloviating about them earlier on in the year. It's just Sean Payton, that offense is just so much fun to watch. That's even above the Rams, and above Kyle Shanahan. I loved watching the Saints offense this first half of the year, even above the Chiefs too. It's just the mastery behind it all. It's so genius. There's a role for every single player on the offensive side of the 53. But they haven't got the run game going, and their offense has suffered because of it. The Steelers, second in the league in sacks. That could play a little bit. That could loom large. You need to get pressure on the quarterback and play defense. Steelers have had a really bad defense historically the last couple of years. They don't have as bad a defense this year. They've made some plays. They stepped up and stopped Tom Brady last week. They're playing some good football. Plus, they're in the thick of it for that division fight. They have everything to play for. I think that they'll cover the 6.5. Not sure if they'll win the game. Gun to my head, I'd probably pick the Saints to win. But I think the Steelers can make it close.
All right, so Saints minus 6.5 for myself, Pittsburgh for Big Web and Zach Zook. We go to Sunday Night Football, Kansas City at Seattle. Seattle's getting 2.5 points only. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one, again, because the spread is so low against an offense like this, because they have to win, because they're tied right now with I almost said San Francisco. I almost said San Diego, with the LA Chargers. And that's the team.
They're San Diego in my heart still.
San Diegans. In the AFC West, they're tied. They got to win. They're fighting for the division title. I got to take the Chiefs in this one. I think they're going to just absolutely put a number on Seattle. And Seattle last week, losing the way they did to the 49ers. To be honest, the 49ers have played better, but it's the 49ers. They only got 4 wins this season. Even the 12s will be out. It's going to be one of the tougher places Mahomes has played in his career, which should be interesting to see how he reacts to it, because going to the playoffs, you're going to be playing in tough spots all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Kansas City in this one, and I believe that they're going to roll, and I also believe they're easily going to cover.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I just think they're a better football team. I think that they're just so dang hard to beat. And the spread is very low. It's one of the only times you'll get to pick Kansas City in a football game and have it less than a field goal. So take advantage of it. I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, Chiefs all the way around. That moves us to the final game of Week 16. Monday Night Football, Denver headed out to Oakland as the Raiders are getting 2.5 points. This is an I don't care bowl.
Yeah.
This is going to be a terrible, horrible football game. This is one of those games I literally will not watch. I have no interest in watching this game between both
Christmas
of these
Eve,
teams.
too. I don't think many people will.
Exactly. Christmas Eve, and you put this just crap out. No offense to Denver or Oakland, but all offense to Denver or Oakland. There's not good teams, not exciting teams to watch. I put Denver down. I'm switching it. I'm taking Oakland. They have chances to score more points. Case Keenum cannot score. They just can't get in the end zone. And Denver's defense is good, but on the road, I guess they're going to fluster a little bit. I'm sorry. I really have no breakdown about this game. I'm so just upset that they're playing this game on Christmas Eve. I'm so upset I can't even pick it. But I am still going to just pick something. I'm taking Oakland plus 2.5 for no good reason. If anybody's mad that I'm not breaking down the fucking Broncos and Raiders games, get over it.
Yeah. Anytime you get a home dog, you gotta like it, right? I'll take the Broncos. I mean, yeah, you're right. This is just a turd fest. The Broncos, man, the last 2 weeks, they have just really disappointed me.
Yep.
They were 6-6 coming off of wins against the Steelers and the Chargers with a chance to go to the fucking playoffs. And they have lost 2 games in a row to not good teams.
Yep.
They lost to the Browns last week after their playoff hopes were dashed the week before by I can't remember who. Texans? I don't know. I don't even care because, yeah, whatever, dude. I really couldn't give less of a shit about this. I'll take Denver because my girlfriend's from Colorado.
There you go.
That's it. And the Gruden Raiders are just a complete laughingstock.
All right, there you go. So Zach takes Denver, Big Web takes Denver, and I take Oakland for no apparent reason. And then I'll do it for the Week 16 picks. Last thing we have are the locks of the week and Big Web's best 4 plays of the week. I am going to continue this trend, okay? I have told you that you pick against TJ Weber the last 2 weeks, you win. Guess what? You picked 2 weeks ago, yep, winner. Baltimore Ravens over Kansas City. Guess what? TJ likes New England? Nope, sorry, Pittsburgh's going to win. Nailed it again, 2-0. Here's my pick. Chicago minus 3.5. They're one of the top teams in the NFC, still fighting for possibly the number 2 overall seed. They need a lot of help to get there, but they've been playing so well. They have the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion. Trubisky is a better quarterback than a lot of people think. But San Francisco is also a good team. I just think Chicago will be able to stop them at the right times, will be able to cover the 3.5. So with that being said, it should be an easy game for Chicago to cover. I'm taking San Francisco plus 3.5 because I love Chicago so much. Take Frisco plus 3.5 because I like Chicago.
I love it.
People are going to be so confused.
I think there's a decent chance it hits, too.
Can you imagine people are confused where they take the opposite of me? So I'm taking the opposite of myself, but then they hear this when I tell them to take the opposite. They take the opposite of my opposite and take my original pick. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I follow you.
I wonder if that's a thing.
Yeah, everybody's mind's going to be in a pretzel.
My opposite pick is San Francisco. I like Chicago. That's why I'm taking Frisco. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
No, I follow it. I don't think it's that confusing.
Okay.
If you've been listening to the podcast,
you should understand.
You know. Yeah, you
Okay.
get it. If you're coming in right now, that's just kind of what you get, I guess.
It's your fault, right?
Yeah. My locks have just been dog shit lately, so I'm better at the pick'ems than I am these spreads. There's a pick'em on the board. I'm taking the Texans on the road at Philly. I don't love it, but it's a noon game. Philly fans should be still mostly hungover. Hopefully it won't be that tough of an environment. Texans are a much better football team, and like I said, I ultimately don't believe in the mythos of Nick Foles as much as some others do. While I think it's still impressive and I think it's a great story, I'm still going to roll with the Texans as my lock. Hopefully these guys can get me off the schneid.
All right, so Zach takes Houston plus a half point. Again, a pick 'em right there, trying to break his losing streak. He'll be back. Still above 500. I can't say I'm there. I'm at 6-8. He's at 8-7.
Hey, and bright side on this half point here, if they tie, I still win.
That's correct. That's correct. So the half points, I pick 'em. You're all good there. Big Web's taking Tennessee minus 10.5. Big Web, I love you, man, but what do you? I don't. Blah. I hate that pick. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it.
I would never. Dude, I locked 9.5 Rams last week. I think that was like by far the biggest spread I had locked the whole year.
I know, but that's the Rams. This is Tennessee.
Yeah, I know.
That's the difference.
And even 10.5, that probably would have been enough for me to just be like, nope.
It's not fair. Big Web's not on the phone. I can't talk too much shit.
That's true. Yeah, he's got to be.
He's got to be able to defend himself. I apologize. So, all right, let's just act like you didn't hear that. So Big Web takes Tennessee minus 10.5. Interesting pick. Okay. We go to his best 4 plays of the week.
If he hits on this, he's gonna come on the phone next week just talking.
He's gonna talk mad shit. So those are our locks. Here's the best 4 plays of the week from Big Web. 33-27 this season. He was 2-2 last week. He's got Tennessee minus 10.5. Pittsburgh. You ever been to Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh plus 6.5. Chicago minus 3.5. And the Kansas City Chiefs, which I lost my place, minus 2.5. So that's the best 4 plays of the week. Once again, those picks, Chiefs minus 2.5, Bears minus 3.5, Pittsburgh plus 6.5, and Tennessee minus 10.5 for the best 4 plays of the week. Zach, that's week 16.
Yeah, and follow, if you're looking to put some action on some games, Big Web's 4 picks, you're going to break even. Like, very rarely does Big Web go less than 2.
He's been, I think, only 1-3 twice through 15 weeks.
Yeah, you're getting at least 2. You're at least getting your money back, unless you parlay it, which I think Big Web does a lot of times.
Yeah, every once in a while. But it's like, but at the same time, like you said, most of the time he's 2-2 or 3-1.
Yeah.
You're at least going to get a chance to win or get your money back.
Yeah.
So there you go.
If I had more money, I'd do it.
Oh, hell yeah. I would just put an investment in Big Web. Absolutely. 33 and 27. Can't really argue with those. There you go, guys. That's week 16. Again, if you're wanting to get involved, you can follow us everywhere at Balcony Brews Pod. Let us know what your picks are, what your Super Bowl pick is. Maybe we'll do a little bracket challenge for the NFL
Love
show on playoffs. See which team you like and who you think is going to win the whole thing. Should be an interesting one. Everybody out there that is supposed to pick, you know who you are. Go pick now. You have an extra day. There's no Thursday night game, so you get the first game on Saturday. So make sure you get out there and get your picks in. And God bless you guys. Good luck in week 16. For Zach, for Big Web, I'm TJ. We'll see you.